Okay, I promise I'll go back to making non-miraculous videos soon. This is just the video I was most ahead on and figured it would get me into a better schedule. So today, the discourse that Thomas Astruc is causing, I say today when realistically it's been random answers he's given over the course of months, maybe even years. It's that anything and everything comes down to intention. I think I briefly brought this up in my miraculous power scaling video, but quite literally anything can seemingly be done with the miraculous at this point, even if it breaks pre-established rules. A fan will point out an inconsistency, and Thomas will tweet a reply saying something like, "Oh no, this was the plan all along, it just comes down to the intention of the holder," even if other episodes have already debunked that idea. A small example I won't go into too much detail is activating your power. It seemed to be built up that just saying it would activate it. Eventually they started saying it on the regular with nothing happening. A fan asked Thomas, and they got told that it was about the intention on whether or not you actually wanted to activate the power when you say the name. But a big part of Oblivio was the heroes accidentally activating their powers after reading the names. So now that we understand the basic criteria, let's go into some more annoying examples. This one is less of an inconsistency and did get its explanation in the show, but the Rabbit Miraculous apparently doesn't have the safety barrier for kids. This is because it can't determine whether the power has been used or is going to be used, which Ladybug questions herself despite opening multiple portals in Strike Back. I thought the logical conclusion would be opening a burrow is the use of the power, but as long as you are in the burrow or leave a portal open, you can basically cheese the power into infinite usage. Which made sense with what happened in Strike Back, yet the very next episode they decided to have Ladybug forget she opened multiple portals and come up with the time travel miraculous is unaffected by regular time. Which even then doesn't make sense. The most I'd expect, if it's not affected by time, is it just removes the countdown. I don't think you should get infinite usage of the power, since the whole point of not having infinite usage of the power is it protects you when you're younger. Multiple uses of powers from the young holders is too overwhelming on their bodies, so the problem is the writers were trying too hard to be smart, and now have gone against their pre-established rules because they were trying too hard to be smart, when the most logical explanation, which wouldn't go against anything, was right in front of them. Another situation was Kwami's not being able to be detected by technology. This one felt like a heavily established rule. They kept specifying the word can't. We even saw situations of Kwami's trying to take pictures of themselves and being upset that they couldn't appear. Which in Optigami we all know that the emergency cell phone was able to hear them, which everyone just assumed Marinette was able to tune the frequency to be able to pick up the Kwamis. It was the most logical explanation anyone could think of, and Thomas Astruc was not replying to any tweets at that time. Well, he just wasn't replying to these specific tweets, if you know what I mean. But then now in Season 6, Markov is able to see Kalki, which okay, maybe Ladybug taught Max how to alter Markov so that he could hear his Kwami, or maybe Max figured it out on his own, he is smart. Fans went to Twitter to ask Thomas, and he did answer this time, but he pulled out his signature move and said it comes down to the Kwami's intention on whether or not they want to be picked up by technology. I mean, this is certainly an answer. It's not even one I hate, but it's inconsistent with the pre-established rules. Like I said earlier, the specification that they kept saying can't, and the fact that Ziggy was upset that he wouldn't appear in the pictures. Another weird example is the New York special when Plague was showing Adrian that Uncanny Valley can't hear or see him. If there was any time to reveal Kwamis can choose to be visible to technology, you'd do it in a situation like this, where someone who themselves is technology knows your identity. On the topic of Kwamis, apparently Kwamis can choose their form. I imagine it's similar to holders choose their suit, and probably just small cosmetic changes, which could be used to explain their Season 6 designs. Unfortunately, there's not really an in-depth explanation, so there is a chance that this just means flat-out shapeshifting. I mean, stuff like human forms for the Kwamis is stuff people have been begging for ages, so I'm scared they are just going to take the they can shapeshift route. This one isn't really a rule or anything, it just seems weird that out of all the times characters have been caught talking to their Kwamis, or other situations, that Kwamis haven't taken an advantage of being able to shapeshift, so it's not really an issue to be seen with them. Like when Miss Mendeleev found out about them, surely if you were Plague you would just shapeshift into a cat and make it so that cameras can see you, because it wouldn't be very out of the ordinary for a cat to appear in the school. I mean, it would certainly be strange, but you couldn't have your teacher go on TV and go, "Oh look, I found this cat eating cheese in my school." and it appears on camera. Whereas even though in the episode she was known to be crazy because of that situation, she knew there were flying creatures that could not be picked up by a camera. I mean, it's obvious these rules are made up on the fly, so obviously there's no smart explanation for why X character did this and why Y character did that. But on the shapeshifting topic, it did see the Kwamis could take on the form of their respective animals in the movie universe, so maybe they can shapeshift. Now for the big one. In Werepoppers, when Ladybug broke the twin rings, only the Akuma was released. Now at this point, say it with me, Thomas's answer was that it was Ladybug's intention not to release the Amok. Like, this one is just flat out stupid at this point. Like, even if you can choose not to release the Amok, did she just kill Adrian for like 5 seconds? Because it's established that if you damage the object tied to the Amok, that the person being created by the Miraculous is going to become very sick, which I think flat out destroying the object would straight up kill them. Although I do think I know what Thomas's answer for this would be. Ladybug didn't intend to hurt or kill Adrian, so breaking the ring did nothing to him. I don't think this example has anything against it in show, it's just very stupid. At this point, I'm convinced that the holders can just decide to do whatever they want, whenever they want, even if they've been told no. Like, what's to stop Cat Noir from realistically saying, I want to be the one to purify the Akumas now, and he just does it? You could argue that it doesn't fit his power set, but since there's no limits to these powers, he could just decide to stick out his staff, capture the Akuma, and destroy the magic that imbued it. Like, it sounds like a stupid idea, but I could flat out see them doing it. But with that, I might end it here. That was just a peek into how annoying the Miraculous lore is, especially with any answer to inconsistency being intention. If I had to choose what the intention of this video was, it would be to get you to like, comment, and subscribe.